And then the other one is social anxiety, because I'm not, you know, I when I meet people, I just I just greet them. I just say hi, and then I'm not really a talkative person. I don't know what to talk about, and usually that cause social anxiety because I'm not someone who, how should I say, like, when you meet someone, let's say at a party, right? You meet someone, and then some people like maybe just hangs out with them a lot and starts dancing like a lot with them. So I'm like someone who doesn't let myself trust other people a lot. I like first got to get to know them a bit more, because I guess you could say, experienced or been through some things about trusting other people and other people trusting me.
Welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. This is Ashanti Branch, and I'm so glad you've joined us. Today's guest is Wenceslao Soto. Wenceslao is the new youth host for the Taking Off the Mask face-to-face. The face-to-faces are part of our episodes where young people talk to other young people, and sometimes I even join the mix, but where they really get a chance to have conversations around these masks that we wear. I think a lot of times on the show, we've interviewed younger people, but I think sometimes the youth voice gets missed. And so to not only have youth voice in conversation with me when it's possible, but also having young people talking to other young people about real conversations and topics. And we really want to build it out this year. So it may continue being its own, once every month episode that pops into our feed. And it may end up being its own show as well. And we don't know yet as we look forward to 2023 and all that's about to happen. But Wenceslao is going to be taking over as a youth host. As you know, for those who've listened before, Mohandas is a senior in high school. He's dealing with senior things, preparing to finish high school, senioritis, or whatever seniors get these days. And we're excited for him as a freshman in high school to take on this challenge and this opportunity and this excitement. Today's episode, you get to learn from him, and he dropped some wisdom. I mean, listen, like when you got a freshman in high school who's dropping wisdom from books that he's read. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about young people not sitting by silent and watching the world go by, but taking their part in the world, taking their role in the communities. I've said for a long time that, if it was 1,000 years ago, by the time you're 13 or 14, you start, smelling yourself, as they say. Like, you're going to be married. You're going to get a wife. You're going to be a warrior. You're going to be a hunter. Like, you don't get to just sit around the village and eat up all the food while everybody else does a bunch of work. In our new age way of living, we have our young people, teenagers, who are just like, all your job is to do is go to school. And when you turn 18, then you become an adult. Then you become a community partner, a provider in the community. You pay taxes, you get a job. I think that's how we often have young people held up until. And it's a different day today. And so how do we begin to give young people responsibilities in our community, that they have responsibility because they are part of the community? That the age is not where it stops your ability to give back to the community. And I think so many young people are, 14 and 15, 13, and are hungry to do something and give back in a way. And some people are 17, 18, 19, 20, and still trying to figure it out as well. So I think there's a large mix of, we're all unique and different in our own ways. And I hope in this conversation you get to hear Wenceslao share some wisdom with you, with me, and with the young people he's going to get to meet on the show. And we had a little we had a little excitement at the end of the show, because as we finished recording the first show, we got a call from one of the young men who he was going to be reaching out to for the first guest. and that young man called, and so hopefully you'll be able to hear some of that. I'm not sure we can get it chopped in or not, but if we can, you're going to hear a little bit of that conversation of him inviting his first guest to be on the show, and it happened totally coincidentally as he and I were wrapping up this episode.
Hey, Josh.
Hi, Wenceslao.
How are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
So, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
So I'm looking for people to join for the podcast. Do you want to be one of my first guests to be on the podcast with me?
What day is that?
We could plan out a day. We could, stay in touch and figure each other's schedule.
Okay.
Do you want to be on the podcast?
Yes, I could.
All right, that's good to hear.
So, listen, take care. Happy New Year. Please enjoy this episode with Wenceslao. And we look forward to you hearing his voice even more throughout this year as he begins to talk to other young people around the world. Thanks, you folks, for being a part of the Taking Off the Mask podcast. Listen, if you're not subscribed to this podcast, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you have not yet made a mask, I invite you to do that anonymously at millionmasks.org. And any other way you know how you can help us to move this movement along, please get involved. There's a lot of excitement happening over the Million Mask movement. We just came back from Mexico and the launch there. We're going to be growing this movement around the world. And if you want to be a part, we're looking for you to be a community champion, to be an ambassador for this work. And it doesn't take a lot. It may just take the courage that you be brave and ask somebody in your circle to make a mask. They can make it anonymously online. You can make masks with people in public or in community circles, and we will show you how, as long as you're willing to be a part of what we're trying to grow to help people around the world. So take care, folks. We'll see you real soon. Be well. Ever forward. Bye now. Wenceslao, welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. Welcome back, I should say.
Thank you.
Glad to be with you here.
I'm excited to be back and a bit nervous.
Yeah. I mean, you were on an episode with Angel, I think, right? Back in the first summer that the podcast started. Were you on the podcast team or the Million Mask Movement team?
I think I was on the podcast team.
Okay. So you were one of the first guest participants, and you were one of the young men who helped to kick this show off. And so glad to have you back after almost 2 years. That was the summer of 2020. And time is going really fast. It's 2023 right now. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Yeah. For those folks out there who are seeing Wenceslao for the first time or hearing his voice for the first time, Wenceslao is a part of our Social Emotional Leadership Academy the summer of 2020. That was during the pandemic. We knew that there were some young men in my program and in my work who needed some experience that summer, and we created it. And so they had two big projects that summer. There was the podcast team, and there was the Million Mask Movement team. And Wenceslao was on one of those teams. And so you'll probably hear some flashbacks in this episode of back to 2020. And I don't know where you were the summer of 2020, but Wenceslao was a part of this community with us. And so I'm really excited. So I get to introduce you, Wenceslao, as our new youth host for the Taking Off the Mask podcast. I'm really excited for you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be new host for the podcast and see what guests I bring up.
Yeah. For those who already know, Mohandas is in his senior year of high school, so he is working on senior stuff and maybe slight senioritis kick in. But Wenceslao is in the ninth grade, and he is going to be taking us through this next season of youth conversations. And so, super excited. And I think that We're actually scheduling some of those first episodes now, and Wenceslao are going to make our mask together. We're going to talk about our masks, and he's going to talk about whatever else he's interested in, like focusing on this year with his peers and with his youth. So important that we have youth voice in these conversations. And I'm excited that Wenceslao is stepping up to the challenge, and I'm really excited for him and for the podcast and for you listeners who are going to be hearing him have conversations with his friends and peers and people he have never met from around the world as well. So, as you know, Mohandas interviewed a lot of his friends, and what we've already um, prepared Wenceslao for is that we're going to be bringing on guests that are from all around the world, that are youth, but also that are friends that he knows as well. So it's going to be a mixture, and you're going to hear a lot of conversations of strangers having conversations, young people. Well, what does it look like to talk to another young person about the things you feel or the things you don't talk about feeling? And so I'm really excited about that. So, Wenceslao, you ready to jump into these masks?
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
go for it.
Let's do it. So I got my paper. Wenceslao's like a veteran. He's been doing this for years. He could probably tell. He should tell me how to make the mask. How about that? How about you start? You tell me how to make the mask. What's the first step?
All right, so on, I'm sorry. Uh, so on one side, on one side of the mask, we're are going to draw, or one side of the paper, we're going to draw the front of the mask, what we show to the people, what we express ourselves, and then on the other side of the mask, we're going to draw the back of the mask, is what we don't let people see. What we don't show, what we hide.
Yeah. So, folks, I put Wenceslao on the spot. So he's exactly right. And so we'll use the sides as the left and right. So we're going to use the left side as the front and the right side as the back. So everything he said was really good. And on the back, we don't need to draw, but let's do it. So have I have my picture drawn, but I'm gonna write my words now. Have you drawn yours yet?
No.
Okay, so we'll work together. We'll do that now. Okay. All right, Wenceslao. So you have your mask. I have my mask, and so as the guest, uh, you get to decide who goes first. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
I think I'll go first. Just get over with. Just
Okay.
relax.
All right. All
So
right. So just
uh,
you do the front first. You do the front first.
I'll do the front first.
Okay.
First. So for the first one, I put a musician because I make music. Second one is outgoing, who loves to try new stuff. And someone who takes in information. So like try to take information about things I learned probably about in school or about other people to remember stuff about them. And the back of the mask, I
Well, let's do
put
this. Let's do the front first, and then I'll share the front. Or you want to do front and back both? You want to do you want to do both?
we could do front and then back and back.
Oh, if that's it. Well, we do it however the guest wants to do it. You want to go front and back together, or you want to? Okay, go ahead. Let's do it.
I think we should do it together. And
Okay. I
I'll
mean,
share mine.
I was just slowing you down, so I didn't know how you wanted to do. Okay, great. Um, so for my front, but I don't think I saw the picture. Can you show the picture? Is it front separated from the back? Can I see your picture? What you drew?
Mine is like in half.
You draw a picture?
Not in true picture. Just
You
thinking
didn't
the
draw a
words.
picture. Oh, okay, okay. All right, so we're okay. Well, this is what I draw. This is what I drew today. So I drew today. And the words I wrote were funny, hardworking, serious, and caring. And I usually do three, but uh, one these little arms were calling me to add another one. So I think these are some of the words I use a lot. But there was a word recently I used right before at the end of last year with one guest, and the word was loving. And I realized that I don't write that word a lot, and I think I do try and show that, like, I'm a loving person. But this time I wrote caring, like, automatically almost, and then I said maybe I should write loving there. And then I decided not to change it, but that's the front of the mask. The things that I try and show, that I intently show, um, on the front of the mask. Yeah.
Loving, I think loving is a pretty powerful word, a pretty important word. I
Yeah.
guess I read it in a book called Prophet. But it's like a book called Prophet, where there's many poems about this man who gets asked talk about I don't know, clothing, love, children, marriage, giving, even some simple things like clothing, work. And there's one quote that, or when he mentioned loving, when love, uh, what was it? You always yield to love, even it may crush your dream, but you still need to just, uh, yeah, I think just those two. Love,
Mm,
you always yield to love, even though they may crush your dreams.
interesting. Yeah. I mean, like, that's a powerful statement. I'm actually really, I've never heard of the book Prophet, so I'm actually interested. So the idea of to love something or to love someone, or it leaves room for pain, like,
Yeah.
because people may not always return the love in the way you gave it. And so if I'm if I'm a loving person, I would hope that people would also be loving back, but I don't get to control that part. And so I think it's that
Hmm.
part of always having to being really careful, like, I think when I was a teacher at first, I would, like, be caring about my students, and I'd have students, like, cussing at me and yelling at me, and I'm like, "Hey, hey, hey, why are you yelling at me? Like, I'm on your team here. Like, why are we?" And then you realize that everyone is not ready to receive it in the way that you give it. Some people will
Yeah.
actually, they can't receive it because they've never experienced it, or they've had blocks up against, receiving care or love from other people.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. I'm gonna look up that poem, the book
Called
Prophet.
Prophet, and it's like Khalil Gibran, something like that.
Mm. Oh, yes. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I
That
have the book
is
right here.
is that from the
But
Restoration Retreat?
I think so, right? So, yeah.
Yes. I thought it sounded familiar. I was like, where's that name from? Yes, that's right. And actually I wrote Prophet. How funny. I wrote Prophet spelled like money. I wrote Profit, like profit, make it profit. And it's oh, yes, it's the other prophet, right? That's the funny part about English,
Yeah.
right? So my brain went to money. I'm like, okay, we're making money. What's happening? And then he's like, oh, the prophet. Yes, Prophet.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for remembering that, and thank you for sharing that. So you ready to do the back?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the back of the mask, I wrote struggles with their path. Because it's connected with the other one. I don't know what direction I should go, which that leads. I can't decide for myself. You know,
Mm,
which I think that I need, in order to mature, I need to, decide for myself, decide what I want to do, where I want to go for my path. And then the other one is social anxiety, because I'm not,
mm,
you know, I when I meet people, I just I just greet them, I just say hi, and then I'm not really a talkative person. I don't know what to talk about, and usually that cause social anxiety because I'm not someone who, how should I say, like, when you meet someone, let's say at like at a party, right? You meet someone, and then some people like maybe just hangs out with them a lot and starts dancing like a lot, with them. So I'm like someone who doesn't let myself trust other people a lot. I like first got to get to know them a bit more because I guess you could say, experienced or been through some things about trusting other people and other people trusting me. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that, man. Yeah, I appreciate that, and I think it's even more courageous that you're taking on this challenge of being the youth host. To push yourself past um, that social anxiety and like, what do I say? Even though we're on a screen here, but it's still meeting a person, right? And so, I mean, you and I have known
Yeah.
each other for a couple of years, but there's going to be some guests who you're going to see for the first time, and you'd be like, oh, hi, right? So I'm excited for the journey, and I appreciate you for taking on this challenge, even knowing that you get nervous and sometimes. And so I have a feeling that I mean, I imagine if you went back and looked at your first episode with Angel almost 3 years ago, you would see a lot of growth, even though maybe on a daily basis you don't remember all the growth. And I think as you take this experience of being the youth host for this season, I imagine when you look back at the end, you're going to be like, oh man, like I've gotten so much better at this. Of Yeah, and I think that's the part I think is going to be amazing, and the curiosity that, cause I think you're a very curious person, and so I think sometimes maybe the worry of saying the right thing gets blocked by just saying the things that you're curious about. Like as you get to meet people on the show, and we're going to start with some of the young men in SELA uh, who should be on the show first, and then we'll start venturing out as you build up those skills. And so I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
All right. Hmm. Oh, were you gonna say something?
No, sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll go to the back. Here's the back. I wrote self-doubt, fear, and worry. I left another one there because I thought I was gonna write another one, but it hasn't come up yet. Self-doubt, fear, and worry. I think sometimes when we started that summer event in 2020, I didn't know what I was doing. It was like, I had, I knew that we need to do something that summer for some young men. We're used to summers getting together, maybe going camping, but we couldn't do anything summer of 2020. And so I was like, man, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to make it exciting for them and engaging for them? How we're going to make it meaningful for them? And, so because I want to do a good job and I'm hardworking, it sometimes is like, can I do this? Right in the back of my mind, I don't talk about it much, and I talk about it. I think when I talk about it on stage, if I'm talking like with you all, like I don't try to pretend like I know everything. That's not who I am. I don't try to pretend like I get everything right. Like I mess up a lot of things, and I think so. Sometimes I have to push myself to like, even when I'm feeling like I'm not sure if I'm gonna do a great job, I'm gonna give my best, and just keep going forward. So that's the self doubt. And I'll say probably fear is one I'll talk about more. Is that I've been on this journey, Ryan and I, as we work on the podcast. You know, this episode, which is the episode releasing the first episode of this year, um, is me like a solo episode, and I have like a lot of videos that I've made that I don't share. Right, I make a lot of videos that I don't share, and we and the plan was that I was going to put together all these videos. We were going to pick like 5 of them, and I was going to talk about why I didn't release them. And I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Like it was like Nah. But today I found an episode from last year, January of 2022, and I'm going to release that video. And it was me. And I think that some of my fear of like, my fear of not doing a good job, right? My fear of like messing something up sometimes causes me to just do nothing. Because if I don't do anything, then I can't mess up. So all these videos I have that I've never shared is because, well, I don't know if they're really good. So therefore, it's better not to let anybody see it. But then I'm judging whether it's good as opposed to like people out there. I didn't make the video for myself necessarily. I made it to try and help people, but I don't even let the people see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so because I worry about being judged, and then the video is still in my phone. So it's like a bunch of videos in here that I made to think I could help somebody, and then I kept it to myself, and I didn't even watch it myself. Right? So it's that, like, how are you helping people if you're not going to share the wisdom that you want to share with them? You know? And so that's been the journey of uh of me working on my fear and working on, like, I would think that, if I would, like, when I was your age, I would be like, I can't wait to be an adult. I won't be afraid of nothing. And as an adult, I'm like, why am I afraid of these things? And so now I get a chance to keep working on it. It's a journey. So when I talk to you all about what I believe in you and what I see in you, like, I constantly am pushing myself too to be seeing it in myself too. So that's part of the journey of this experience.
I think one can't be truly brave unless they have fear. Like, so if you're truly, I think once you uh overtake that fear, I feel that you're just, you say you're not afraid of anything, but yeah, maybe a fear hasn't come to you yet. I guess you just like pass like each level, and each fear comes to you. Just you don't know when it's gonna come to you. So I feel that one can't truly be brave unless they always have a fear. For me.
Mm, that's powerful. That's powerful. Yeah. Because if you're not afraid of it, then it's no big deal. It's like tying your shoe in the morning, right? You don't think about it because it's like you do it all the time and you don't even think about it twice, right? Maybe a different example, like, or like get on a bike, right? Get on a bike. Like if you've ridden a bike before, you know how to ride a bike. Even if you haven't ridden one for a year, you know what to do. You're not. But if you've never ridden one, you're like, oh my goodness, I've only seen people falling off of these things, right? That first time is like,
Yeah.
even with the training wheels, you get like wobbly, like what's going on? Like you're gonna be okay, right? Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for that quote. Well, maybe this is opportunity that you're taking on, right? What made you say yes to being a youth host, even though you said you feel sometimes social anxiety?
So try to get over the fear of social anxiety. You know, maybe I may not completely be brave to it, but like I did it. You know, so I guess just trying to complete something from my fear list.
Well, I'm excited, I'm glad. I didn't know that. I don't think you ever told me that in words. I knew that you sometimes get shy, but I don't think you ever told me that. So when I invited you, it wasn't like, let me push him out of his comfort zone. It was more like, I see a lot in you. I believe in your talent. I think you're an incredible young man, and I'm excited for your journey. You were the youngest at the Social Emotional Leadership Academy when you joined. You had just finished seventh grade. All the other students were high schoolers. So it was, and I told you, I said, a lot of the young men are going to be older. So just, be prepared. You're going to have to talk, I think our first conversation on the phone, you were quiet, but I thought it was just a phone, right? So I was like, um, and so when you came to that first meeting, you did an amazing job. What did you think? Do you remember that first meeting?
Yeah, I was a bit quiet because it felt like too serious. Like over the phone, and I was sitting down next to it. It felt like some. It was, as if I was applying for like a secretive job. Because it's like so. You know,
It was a top secret. It was a top secret experience.
yeah. So that's why I was. I was kind of quiet because I was nervous.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad that you did. I'm glad that you joined the circle that was here at our office here in Hayward when you came. And there's been a wild journey since. For those who may not recognize his Wenceslao's voice again, he was also in our video from South by Southwest. So you got to go to South by Southwest with us. You were on stage at the screening of the film Beyond Men and Masculinity. You got to meet the director, and yeah, I think there's a lot more to come. I think not only with the music, you got to go to the restoration retreat with us in Denver, right? Yeah. So your willingness and your courageousness to say, you know what, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to give my best. I think is continue to just help you to grow and thrive, and there's more to come. You're only at, you got 3 more years of high school that are going to be an adventure as well, and so I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, I just take. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Oh no, it's your turn.
I just I just grateful for these opportunities that are given to me. Going the South by Southwest, going to Texas. I haven't been there, the state where I was born. So much fun in Austin. Go Longhorns. The Denver. Had so much fun meeting other people from different places from the U.S. and getting to do so many activities with them and learn so many things. And it was I'm just grateful for these opportunities that are given to me.
Man. Well, I'm excited now that you're going to help some other young people, some other young men in your community who may be looking for an opportunity, but they don't know they're looking for it. Like, I don't know that you were looking for us when we first met. I don't know that, I know I got connected through Clark and through your mom, but I don't know that you were looking for us, right? Like, we always have our eyes open for young men in the community who are looking for opportunities or trying to find a place to be a circle. But I think you now get a chance to do that for someone else. Like, over this next year, this next 6 months or so, you're going to get a chance to like meet somebody, and you're like, maybe this young person right here, this young man could use an opportunity. And you're going to get a chance to invite that young man to apply to the Social Emotional Leadership Academy. You're going to get a chance to invite them to be on your show, and maybe they got some amazing stuff inside of them too. Maybe they got some gold inside of them that they can't see, that no one is shined up. Maybe the gold is all rusty and the diamonds are all muddy, so no one can see the amazingness. And so they just need somebody to see it in them and help them bring it out of them, right? And I think we all need that sometimes. Some people never had anybody see it in them, so it's impossible for them to even see it in themselves sometimes. So I'm excited for you who get to do that now for someone else, right?
Yeah.
Like someone at your school who acts like they don't care about school, acts like they don't care about nothing. But you know what these are. You know what they show on the outside. It's just a mask. Yeah, it's so much more to them. And maybe when you invite them, somebody you're going to invite, they're going to be like, "Nah, I ain't doing none of that." Okay. And some of them you're going to be like, "Me? Like, why do you want me? Why do you want me to be on your show?" And that's a opening to the conversation. It's like, well, I mean, we all got stuff that is happening that we can't see. I don't know. Maybe there's so much more to each of us, right? And
Yeah.
everyone is not going to be ready for the show, right? Everyone's not going to say yes to your invitations. Some people will be like, they'll try to make fun of you for inviting them, which won't make sense. You'd be like, what is that about, right? But that's not about you. It's about them. It's about their own insecurities and their own doubts and their own worries, right? their own fears, right? It shows up. It comes out when we least expect it because we're trying to protect ourselves, right? And so the doubts, the worries, and fears comes out sometimes in ways that don't seem like they make sense, right? So
Hmm.
I'm excited about those opportunities for you to learn as well because I think those are going to help you grow too. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say on this episode? This episode where we get to introduce you to the podcast community. Anything you have any questions? You have any thoughts before we sign off for today?
Well, I think don't ever wait for someone to, like, or just wait to be on this podcast to share something about yourself. You know, I got a best friend, who's always there, listen to me, talk to me, uh, about things about myself. And just, if you haven't found the right person to talk to them, soon you will, sooner or later. It's just, it took me or even takes time. It took time for me and him to, share personal things to each other. And it's just, you're gonna find somebody, if to talk to when you need it the most, and they may be there. Another quote from the thing, from the book
Yeah.
about friends is, don't find time to kill with them, but find time to live with your friends.
Mhm.
Maybe. So, yeah, just,
That's
friends are your
awesome.
trusty ones. Yeah.
That how just a curious question because that's actually really great that you shared that. Um, what allowed you and your friend to begin having those real conversations? Like, what was it? Who do you know who went first, or what was the like? How did you begin testing the water to see how much you could share and feel safe?
It's just, I think I'm pretty sure I was the first one to share something. But, we just, I guess we went from little secrets to big ones. I guess we told something, like, that maybe something that just happened today. Maybe I tell them, hey, today, just, I don't know, I saw a cute girl at the mall or something. And
Yeah.
then once after, he does it, we, test each other's trust, I guess you could say. Like, is he going to tell somebody, or is he going to keep it to himself? And then once, we didn't share each other's secret, we just trust each other. He doesn't tell anybody about, my secrets. Like, if somebody asks, he's always asking me, hey, can I tell them? If I say no, he's like, I'm sorry, I can't tell you. No, you can't. And then if I say yes, and he's gonna tell them. Right? So I guess you gotta say something, like, really small, and then just build up from there.
Yeah. The trust is so important, and Wenceslao, I thank you for trusting us. I thank you for coming and becoming a part of this uh, ever forward community, brotherhood, family. Thank you for taking the journey all the way across the bridge to get over here and meet with us the times we had to meet in person, and that's trust. It takes trust to jump into a new experience and a new environment. So thank you for that, and I've been overjoyed watching you grow. I mean, it's only been 3 years, 2.5 years, but it feels like longer. And so
Yeah.
every time I see you, you're getting taller and taller, and I'm really thankful for you. And so I'm excited for you and what you're going to get to do this next season with young men on the podcast. And the youth voice is something that I take really serious. That we don't ignore, and we take it. It is the basis of our work. So I'm excited for your first episode coming soon. We're gonna get folks out there listening. Probably in the next couple of weeks, you're gonna hear Wenceslao's first episode, and so it definitely be before the end of January. So, Wenceslao, thank you, and Happy New Year to you. And
Thank you.
I'm excited for all the young people who you're going to inspire with your courage, with your willingness to face your fear and then be brave anyway. So thank you for that, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I'm just really looking forward to this year and what experience is going to take us and give to us. You know, so I'm looking forward this year and see
That's
what
right.
you have planned.
You have planned what you have planned. I'm going to watch what you have planned. But you do this year, you do get to go on a college tour. So this will be our first college tour coming up this spring. So stay tuned for that. And super excited to go visit some colleges in Southern California. And we got some folks in Southern California that we're going to meet. And I'm excited for that for all of you. So keep making music, and maybe you create your own piece for your own episode. Maybe you create your own intro music. So think about creating a song that would be your intro.
I'll work on it. I think of
All
one.
right, all right, fantastic. Have an original piece there. Well, folks, listen, Wenceslao and I shared our masks publicly, but you don't have to share yours publicly. You can do yours anonymously online at millionmask.org. That's millionmask.org. And you can make your mask, submit it anonymously. And maybe after you submit it anonymously and you see the thousands of other masks that have been submitted, maybe it'll encourage you to share someone with yourself. And you tell someone about it in your family or friend and say, hey, would you make a mask over here anonymously? And then maybe one day you all can decide, can we talk about our mask together? Maybe the early pieces of that will build connection. And so, as Wenceslao has said, the only way to really be brave is if you're feeling some fear. So when I ask you to make a mask, if you're feeling some fear, I get it. I understand. And maybe this would be one of those opportunities in early 2023 that you can be a little brave and try and do it first anonymously. Take care, folks. Tell somebody about this episode. If I'm super excited. I don't know where you were when you were in the ninth grade. I don't know if you were on anybody's podcast, but I wasn't. I definitely wasn't thinking about a podcast world. I don't even think podcasts existed. So first of all, but definitely nobody was interviewing me for my thoughts and ideas. And I hope that you share this with some other ninth grader, some other young man out there, who may be just wondering for an opportunity. And if you know a young person who wants to be on this show, please connect to us. Email us at everforwardclub@gmail.com, everforwardclub@gmail.com. And in the subject, just put Taking Off the Mask Podcast, and we will get back to you, and hopefully we'll meet some other young folks around the world. Take care, folks. Wenceslao, thank you for being here today, brother. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
The Taking Off the Mask podcast is produced by Ryan Louie. Graphics are by Kelly Wong. And a special thanks to the team at EverForward, Vanessa Cortez and Choque Allen Alvarez. We'd like to thank everyone who's been a part of the creation of this podcast as we cross the 100th episode milestone and begin the work to the next 100. We hope that everyone who's been a part knows that they're a part of the Taking Off the Mask family. And we look forward to you being a part of it as well. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe, write a 5-star review, and share, as we look forward to continuing to have conversations that matter. Stay tuned for the relaunch of the Million Mask Movement on 11/11/22. That's November 11th of 2022. There's a math problem in there. You can find out more by visiting everforwardclub.org and following us on social media. Take care, and we'll see you soon.